Hey guys, welcome to the Arc of Attrition safety briefing. Nice to see you all again. We're going to try and keep this brief. Everything that you need to know is on our event guide. So if you go to our website and have a look through that, honestly, everything you need is on there. And we don't want to sit here and bore you for hours with stuff that you can get somewhere else. So we're just going to do a few introductions for you. You're obviously going to be coming to the Eco Park to register for the event. All registration for both of the 100 and the 50 take place at the Eco Park. You can register at two different times. As I say, have a look at the event guide for all the timings. Slight difference for anyone who has done it before. Whenever you register for the event, you will receive your tracker at that point. So when you come to register, please bring all your kit for kit check and make sure you got your race pack so we can put your tracker on there for you. Ferg's going to go through a lot of the information about the course, etc. in a minute. Just a few things from me. Remember, when you get to the start of the race, you need to be ready to run. You won't be able to leave anything on the buses. If you do, you probably won't see it again because it will disappear off to a school run somewhere. Once they leave the start, that's the end of it. We don't see the buses anymore. A few things for you at registration this year. There will be our friends from Centurion Running will be there. They'll have their store. James and Co will bring loads of stuff. So if there are any last minute things that you forget, you'll be able to get them from the guys at Centurion. I think that's really all we need to talk about before the race. So if you want to carry on, Ferg.
Yeah, I'll just do a little bit about the starts. Two different starts, obviously. The 100. The 100, the start will be completely different to the 50. The 100, we can have no supporters or crew members there at all. It's, for those of you that don't know Coverack, it's a tiny little fishing villagey place that, and we take it over for a few hours every January. It's carnage down there, as you can imagine. So we have to turn buses, get people off buses, get them to the loo, get them to the start line with all our people, all within a very short space of time. So this year will have people at the top of the village stopping anybody that's not one of our official crew in Ives or our logistics or media teams, our start people. Anybody that's not involved with the race start, from our point of view, will be stopped entering the village. Every year we get people that turn up there and say, oh, we didn't read the event guide, or we didn't know this, or we didn't know that. You will not be allowed down there because you clog the village up and we can't turn the buses and it's carnage. So we're going to be really strict on that. So please, if you turn up down there, you will be turned away, okay? The 50 start, you can take as many people down there as you want. That's at the Minack. There's a huge car park at the bottom of the hill, okay? You can park down there, you can walk up, and we welcome as many people to the Minack as possible. The Minack is an amazing place if you've never been there before. The start is, I think, is the best start in the business. And we'll have teas and coffees, and they'll be open, and the Minack staff are very welcoming, and that's where you want to go if you want to watch a race start. But please stay away from Coverack. The place to go to meet your runners straight after the race would be the Lizard, where there's a big car park, and at Kynance Cove, where there's another big National Trust car park. That's your first big places where you can meet your runners with the space to do it. So that's the starts. Course marking is all pretty straightforward. There are none, except for acorns on national trails. We don't mark this course. We like it to be a bit of an adventure. We like you to get lost a little bit sometimes. So yeah, you'll be following acorns. Some of the signage will be behind us on the screen. They'll be on wooden posts. They'll be on granite stumps. They'll be on down on the floor. They'll be on stickers on lampposts in more built-up areas. Big giant stones in the dunes of doom. All sorts, but there'll be basically an acorn. If it's not full of an acorn, it's the wrong way. There's loads of bridle paths and stuff that bear off the coast path. Ignore them. Stay on the acorn signs. There's lots of them, and you can't get ridiculously lost. But one thing, please, the GPX is spot on at the moment. Okay, if it changes, if big lumps fall into the sea between now and the end of Jan, we will update the GPX and send it out by email. But make sure you download the GPX. Anybody that doesn't do this race without a GPX will lose a lot of time. Okay, and importantly, make sure that you have the ability to keep your watch or handheld device charged throughout the race. Okay, that's every year we have people that their phones, their batteries, whatever, they run out and they lose their GPX. Important, very important to have that GPX downloaded. Jane, anything you got to add on that?
Yeah, only reiterating what I said at the start about the event guide. The amount of work that's gone into the GPX and the route description by Colin is incredible, and it's on the event guide. So as long as you go and have a good look through all of that, you'll get so much information about the route. I don't think we can stress that enough about how good that is. And it's there for your benefit, not ours. So go and take your time and have a look at it.
Just on the course, cut-offs, we're very strict on cut-offs. It's something that we hate doing. Worst part of the job. We do it every year. We have to cut people off. So just please, our checkpoint managers have to do the job at a lot of places. I have to do the job. Jane has to do the job. We hate it, but please don't argue with us. They're there for the safety and obviously to keep the race in check. So please, no arguing with anybody.
Just on that about the cut-offs, if you are unfortunate enough to be cut off, we will have a sweep bus that will be at each checkpoint and will bring you back to race headquarters. So if you're crewed, then obviously you can come back with your crew, but we need you to come back to race HQ, A, so we can get your tracker from you, but B, so we can check that you're okay and that we accounted for you. But if you're unsupported or you need us to, our sweep bus will get you back.
Mentioning crew, crew are very much an integral part of this race for everybody, whether it be in the 100 or the 50. The crew it's important that the crew look after themselves as well, as Jane will give you a little bit on that in a minute, but you know, don't underestimate how important your crew are and how tiring it can be, almost more tiring than being in the race, because the adrenaline's not flowing. Anybody that's crewed before knows how tiring it is. We got almost as much information for crew in the event guide as what we've got for the runners, but there are some really important things where you can't go, because again, it's during the night. We rely on the support of these communities, and we don't want to piss them off. So Mousel, which is on the 100 route, just past Penzance, okay. Everyone will be hitting that at night, okay. It's a small sleepy fishing village. Please keep your crew vehicles out of Mousel. We cannot have 200-300 cars running around that village in the middle of the night waiting for the runners. You can park on laybys between Penzance, just after Newlyn, just before you get to Mousel. There's big long stretch of road with lay-by where you can meet your crew. Okay, it's just half a mile from Mousel. Don't go into the village. We will have crew there. Any crew cars that enter Mousel will be turned away. Okay, we'll have our own people there, but please no crews. As well, the Minack. Okay, the Minack Theatre. We had resident complaints a couple of years ago. So car park at the top of the theatre, which can be used during the day, but not during the night. Park at the bottom at Porthcurno Beach car park. Okay, all crew vehicles can park there, and yeah, you can walk up to the Minack, but I would stay at the bottom because your runners will come off the cliff onto the beach. That's the place to meet your runners. Okay. Another crew place that's out of bounds, unfortunately, is Pending Watch. It's a single track road, in and out. It was carnage there, and we've just stopped people going there, both for residents and just for traffic control. Okay. Use Cape Cornwall car park, which is only 2 to 3 miles beforehand. Big, huge car park there. Okay. Use that one to meet your runners between Land's End and St Ives section. That's the best place, and kind of really the only place, unless you want to walk in from Zenner and meet them at Zenner Head. Jane, anything more on crew well-being?
Yeah, just really to reiterate what you said, your crew are, if they're out there, especially for the 100, but also for the 50, they're going to be out there for obviously as long as you are, but they've also got driving, they've got navigating, they've got worrying about you on top of everything that they're doing.
Trying to get a signal on the phones.
Yeah, looking at trackers, all this sort of thing. Being told by us that they can't go to certain places, which will cause them stresses. Make sure that they look after themselves. If they're not double crewed, then that is particularly important. You know, they're going to be out there for hours. Make sure that they look after themselves, that they take supplies for themselves, they take warm clothing, all the things that, you know, that you may not think of immediately when you're asking them to do what you're asking them to do. And also, they're going to be going to different car parks throughout the course of the event. If we could give you a list of what apps to use at what car parks, whether they take cash, whether they take cards, we would. But they're changing that all the time, so it's better that we don't do it. Say to your crew, just bear that in mind. They need to be responsible for where they park. What we don't want is for you to get home after a fantastic event and then receive £100 fine because you didn't put 50p in a car park slot somewhere. Just keep it in mind. Make sure that they take change with them, that they take a card, and that they've got all the necessary apps downloaded. If you can take those stresses away from them, they'll be able to look after you all the better. So just make sure that they've covered all of those bases before they set off. It's a big ask. It helps us if you've got crew. We don't deny that, but just make sure that they're looking after themselves as well as you.
And yeah, just make sure they get some downtime. The best place for them to sleep, if they're on the 100, crewing you on the 100, they can't really access you after Cape Cornwall unless you go to Zenner. That would be the best time to try and get a few hours kip before the rest of the day. You know, you're going to be out there for, even if you're right at the sharp end, you're going to be taking 4 hours plus on that section, and most people more like 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's the best time for your crew to get sleep, when you're on the when you're between Cape Cornwall and St Ives. So talking about St Ives, unfortunately, the council are renovating our usual checkpoint at the Guildhall for 2 years. They're putting in loads of stuff, especially for us, spending about 4 or 5 million on the place. So when that's back, it's going to be great. But in the meantime, we are going to be using a new, smaller venue at the other end of St Ives, called the Island Centre. Admittedly, it's smaller than what we'd like, but we've got a great team of girls and guys down there, great team of angels that will be looking after you, and we will have loads of valets which will actually meet you on the coast path, rather than anybody that's done it before having to navigate yourself through St Ives. We will have a team of valets that will meet you at the end of the coast path and guide you to the checkpoint, and guide you back onto route from there. If you don't know what valets are, if you've not done if you've not done the race before, they're kind of unique to the Arc. They're guys that will meet you off the coast path and guide you to the checkpoints, because a lot of these checkpoints are slightly inland. So they will run you, they will look after your well-being, they will ask you if you need a medic, they will ask you your name, They'll give you that little personal treatment and guide you into the checkpoint, hand you over to the checkpoint managers and the angels inside the checkpoint, and then take you back to the coast path again. Okay, so they'll all be in high vis, so when you come off the coast path and you're a bit disorientated, they will guide you into the checkpoint personally. We've got, I think, something like 100 valets on duty, all from the ultra and trail community, over the weekend. Checkpoints, Jane, anything particular on checkpoints that you need to mention?
Only that we pride ourselves in our checkpoints, and we will cater for you. We cater for all our checkpoint food. There will be vegetarian and vegan options. There should be at least 3 hot food choices at every checkpoint, along with the usual fare. The valets will tell you hopefully they'll tell you what's on offer, so you'll have an idea of what you're going to get when you get in there. The only thing I will say, if you have got specific medical needs when it comes to food, so if you've got recognised medical conditions that food is an issue for, you are welcome to bring food to registration and we will get it taken out to the checkpoints. If you do that, please make sure it's properly labelled with who it's for and any instructions on there. I do want to stress though, we're talking about food related medical conditions. If you come to us and say that you prefer smooth peanut butter to crunchy, we'll do what we can, but please don't bring that and ask us to take it to a checkpoint. I know that sounds a bit glib, but you know what I mean. Anyone who we've had people with, for example, celiac disease, have brought checkpoint food to us. It's all been labelled. We've got it to the checkpoints. We've heated it up, ready for them when they arrive. Our checkpoint managers know who it's for, and they'll be watching the tracker and they'll have it ready for you. So we will do what we can in those sort of circumstances. But like I say, please, we're talking about medical conditions, not food preferences.
Yeah, with in between our checkpoints, checkpoints are, as I said, it's an adventure. We haven't got checkpoints every 10k. It's 20 miles between checkpoints, so it's a long way. But what we have got, where road access allows, we've got a whole team of flying angels that will be with you all for the night, all through the race, and they'll be at specific access points. You'll come across them. They'll be in vans, they'll be in cars. They'll have a big yellow sign in the vehicles saying Flying Angels. They will have specific emergency nutrition. Okay, these are predominantly for unsupported runners. Okay, but if you're in dire need of it, they're not going to turn anybody away. If you need sugar, if you need water, if you need Coke, we've got Precision Fuel, who are all those vehicles will have a whole range of hydration tabs, gels, chews, sugar. We'll have Coca-Cola. We'll have, you name it, flapjacks, all that sort of crisps, emergency stuff to keep you going to the next checkpoint if you need it. Go and see those guys. Some of them will have hot and tea, coffee as well in the back of their vehicles. Okay, so please use them if you need them, but just remember they're predominantly for unsupported runners. If you've got crew, they will have adequate supplies for sure. That is just about it on the support on the course.
Yeah, I think also just to reiterate to your support crews, obviously that we don't want them taking supplies from our Flying Angels, but if they need advice, if they want any help, if they're a bit stuck about anything, send them to those vehicles as well. They could well be in the same places as our crew, as your crew point. So they're really useful people to go and ask for advice from. Yeah, most of those Flying Angels have previously taken part in the race or have supported this race year on year, so they know the race as much as we do. So yeah, use those Flying Angels there for advice and for emergency nutrition if you need it. Okay, but don't rely on them, because you might expect them to be at the next car park or next cove. They might
if there's an emergency on the course and they're the nearest people to that emergency, we might have to contact them and use them in an emergency. So don't rely on them being there. They should be, but you know, shit happens. So just bear that in mind. Kit queries is another thing that we get bombarded with. Luckily, if anybody's not on the La Sportiva Arc of Attrition Facebook page, there is one, and that is a mind of information for things like kit. We kind of take a step back for it. It's kind of self-policed by, we monitor it, but it's self-policed by the members. You have to join, we have to accept you. But just if you just look for La Sportiva Arc of Attrition.
Can I just say at this point, I'm hoping, I think it's all been closed down. Make sure it's the La Sportiva Arc of Attrition page that we accept your invite to. There is a Raid Light Arc of Attrition fake page doing the rounds. I think I've got rid of it. Hopefully everybody who was on it, hundreds of people who joined it, will know that it's fake. You'll know it's fake because if you try to track your runners and they want you to pay to track them, please don't do that. You don't have to pay to track your runners on our event, because I would imagine another one will pop up beforehand if we've got that one shut down. La Sportiva Arc of Attrition, you asked to join, we accept you. Anything else? And please answer the question so that we know that you're genuine. Just trying to stop you getting spammed, guys.
Yeah, I'll just go through a few kit queries that pop up every year. Head torches is one of the main ones. You need 2, okay? Probably for obvious reasons. You could be out there for 21, 22 hours in the dark. Most of the 100 race is in the dark, and you'll all be in the dark at some point. Okay, so you know, head torches, spare battery packs. You need a spare battery pack. This is from one of our event partners, Petzl. Ideal for the race, long battery life, rechargeable battery. But you need another one of these. Okay, if you turn up with just one, you won't be able to race. You need a spare battery pack for each head torch, and you need 2 head torches. You can use a handheld torch as a backup. We haven't got any problem with that, but also that needs batteries. Don't underestimate the normal battery life that's shown a lot of the time. It's so cold out there, hopefully, that your batteries don't last as long as normal, okay? And you will need a bright light. It's technical out there, it's muddy, it's slidey. You'll need as bright a light as you can, so don't underestimate how many spare batteries. 2 is a minimum. If it was me, I would be taking 3. Okay, so especially if you're a back of the packer and you're out there for 2 nights. Tail lights that you get on the red tail lights that you get on the back of a lot of the top end head torches these days, like this one. We specify in the event guide that you have a red tail light on top of the one on your head torch. Okay. So that on your back of your backpack at all times, the little like bike lights, little flashing ones, you need one of those on your backpack as well as any light that you've got on your head torch. 2's better than 1, okay? But you need at least 1 on the back of your backpack, and that needs to be on at all times, okay? It's pretty dark and grim out there at all times. So please have that from the start of the race flashing away on the back of your head torch. It's for your safety and so that we can find you.
Can I just confirm just a couple of things from, and it's exactly what Fergus just said, but I just want to précis it and condense it and make it absolutely 100% clear, having run kit check every year. If you come to registration with a rechargeable head torch and you say, I've got a power pack to recharge it, that is not a second battery, and you will fail kit check with that. Secondly, if you come to registration and say, I've got a flashing red light on the back of my head torch, I haven't got a separate red light, that will fail kit check. Just 2 things that happen every year. We say it every year, so I just want to make that 100% clear, because if anyone says they didn't know, I will probably, this safety briefing will be playing on a loop at registration, and I will go and play this bit on a loop for 5 minutes.
That's why Jane's in charge of registration and I'm not. And kitchen. Another thing, gloves. I can't specify how important gloves are in this race. Waterproof gloves, it's an absolute necessity, and good ones, okay? Warm waterproof gloves are an absolute necessity in this race. Don't skimp on your gloves, because if you're anything like me, you get cold hands, then it can be game over and you can't access anything. It's a nightmare. So good waterproof gloves. Look at the event guide, look at what you need, it's on there. And another really thing that we're really strict on is full body bag. Full body survival bag. There'll be pictures flashing up on the screen. Don't turn up with a space blanket that you get at the end of London Marathon or something. A full body bag that you can get inside. If you have an accident on the coast path, you could be out there for hours before there's only one way out of it most of the time, and that will be by a helicopter. Okay, so if you have a bad accident, if you're not near an access point, you need to be able to get into that body bag and wait, preferably a big bright orange one, but whatever colour, most of them are orange anyway, but so that we can see you and you can get inside, and you can at least try and stay warm and dry until we get to you, okay? So very, very important. All right, do not turn up at this race without full body bag. Body bag? Survival bag. Well, hopefully not a body bag. That's about it on kit. Like I say, everything's on the event guide, the full kit list. We will be doing kit checks. We will also be doing kit checks at checkpoint, and that's not a threat. We had it on film last year. This race is filmed throughout. We will be doing kit checks on specific people, and especially if it looks like you're not carrying the right kit, we will stop you and check. Okay, and how many runners do we do at the end, Jane?
We do the top 5 men, top 5 women of both events will be kit checked. So if you come in the top 5, please expect to have to be compass mentis enough for us to do a quick kit check. Although we have done it from people who haven't been compass mentis, to be fair. Yeah, we'll just do a kit check on you, so don't worry. Tracking about getting trackers back. Yeah, so we've got open tracking as usual with us this year. I think Chris and Matt will be at registration assigning trackers. We'll have a team putting trackers on you. It's really important that we get those trackers back. The beauty of them is that we do know where they are, so we do see them disappearing off up the M5. We have phoned people and they've had to turn around and come back with them. We're charged if we don't get the trackers back. If you lose your tracker, you could be charged. We just don't want that hassle. When you finish the race, because you'll all be coming back to race headquarters to get your medals and your buckles, we'll get your trackers off you. But if for any reason you've had to stop earlier than that, please get the trackers back.
Yeah. On trackers, they are there for your safety and also for anybody that's trying to take, should I say, shorter routes. We are very strict after some incidents in the past. So we have a team of people watching these laptops all weekend. Never more than 2, okay? Sometimes 3 people, someone will have a break. Never are people not at least 2 people watching these trackers at all times, okay? If you suddenly do a 2-minute mile, 3-minute mile, get into a vehicle, it shows up, okay? We have disqualified people or a person in this race in the past for getting into motorised transport. Don't do it. It just shows up like a sore thumb on a tracking list. You'd be absolutely stupid to even try it, okay? And what I call local lines as well. If anybody's suspected of taking local lines, you could incur a time penalty or in extreme cases disqualification, okay? We know that there's a few places on the course where you can cut off headlands and stuff, and just don't do it. Follow the GPX at all times. Anybody that's suspected of shortcuts will be dealt with. And just another thing on that, just stuff we don't like to talk about, but also just running or pacing alongside anybody as well is completely is a complete no-no. We've also had to add time penalties in the past on this. So no running or pacing alongside your runner at any point. You know, you can hand them stuff. Okay, the only people you might see out there running with anybody will be our official media team. We've got quite a few films being made this year, and they will be in high-vis. And if you see somebody running alongside in high-vis, you know they're being filmed or part of our media team. Other than that, please, nothing alongside anybody. Other last few things. Jane, you got anything? I've just got some major safety issues to do.
Yeah, we'll come on to those. It's just, we're thinking about kit and you were talking about gloves, and this is just a little handy hint that I've had from a friend of mine who suffers with cold hands. Not you, you're not my friend, somebody else.
True.
Those little hand warmers that you snap, that you can put inside your gloves, are a really good addition. So if you are somebody who suffers with cold hands, there's something worth thinking about. Okay. There you go.
Major safety issues, okay. Tin mines are a major safety issue. West Cornwall is riddled with tin mines, and a lot of them are not capped still, believe it or not. And every year we have walkers, dogs, cats, not on the race as such, but disappearing down mines, and rescue teams getting them out. We've got some photos of some incidents, and we've got an infamous one from last year. We call him Bramble Man. I think he's a valet this year. He's coming back to valet. But we've got a photo of Bramble Man's legs. Yeah, he decided he wandered off track, not his own doing, but he didn't keep to the coast, the actual coast path, and he tried to cut across land. Okay. Very dangerous. A, because there could be a tin mine in the heather or the brambles. There are a lot of them. And B, if you get caught like Bramble Man, this is what your legs are going to end up looking like. Okay, he was there for, I think, almost 2 hours.
Yeah, in total.
In total. Yeah. When we tried us trying to locate him, we could speak to him on the phone, but we just couldn't locate him. We had a rough area. What he was that wrapped up in brambles that we couldn't even see him. So just be aware. Backtrack if you get lost. Backtrack on the trail. Do not cut across anything. Okay, because what lies beneath might not be what you want. Okay, so just if you get lost, keep to a trail, backtrack, and pick up your GPX, and keep yourself safe. Okay. A couple of places where you can't run on Kynance Cove, we will have marshals down there. That's very near the start of the race, but there's coast path signs pointing to Kynance Cove, okay, and then there's an overland route, okay. Don't go down onto the beach at Kynance Cove. Stick to the GPX, because if it's tidal and you don't want to get that wet of feet or go for a swim that early in the race, okay. And the second place where it might be tempting to run on the beach is the Dunes of Doom. Okay, anybody that's done the Dunes of Doom, it's easier to run in the dunes than it is on the beach. The beach is also tidal and completely out of bounds. Okay, in the dark you can get swept away on that beach, so it's completely out of bounds. Keep to the route. The Dunes of Doom, they run parallel with the beach, and it's easier running. The sand is more compact than the beach itself. A couple of places, cliff edges. Obviously this race is on the cliff, so it's got inherent dangers. We won't lie, but that's part of the adventure. But there are some places, especially nearing Land's End, nearing St Ives, nearing Portreath, and around the North Cliffs Gadreevy area, where you're very close to the coast path, and it's a direct drop, into the sea. Unguarded, it's unguarded. Just be particularly careful. around St Ives, around Portreath, and around the North Cliffs especially, it's dark. You're way into the race if you're on the 100 or the 50, and you know your mind might be wondering. It's very exposed cliff edges there, so extra care there, please, guys. And that's about it on safety. You know, it's as safe. We try and make it as safe as we possibly can, but still keeping it a bit of a wild adventure, which it will be. Jane?
There's not much left really from me, other than just to talk a little bit about our volunteers. 250 Archangels will be out on the course looking after you this year. As the name suggests, they are all volunteers. They're all there because they want to be there. They're all from the running community. We always used to say they're from the Southwest running community, but they're from all over the country these days. We have people coming from all over the place. Got a waiting list for our volunteers. They're out there for your safety and to help us. We couldn't do the race without them. So whatever state you're in, a word of thanks never goes, it can never be too greatly appreciated. But they are there doing our bidding, really. So just bear that in mind when they're asking you to do certain things. But also thank them. We can't thank them enough.
And yeah, just to wrap up, we'd just like to thank our sponsors again for we've got some great sponsors. La Sportiva, they will have their marketing and support guys there all weekend, so you'll encounter them. You'll be able to buy their goods, you'll be able to try their goods, and they will be there all over the course. Precision Hydration, again, major sponsors this year, really good guys. Fantastic products. You'll be able to get advice at HQ and on the course, and their products will be available at all the checkpoints and with our mobile teams. And Petzl, they will have their head torches for sale at the Centurion store, and advice on head torches if you need it from the guys from Petzl. And I think that is just about it.
Yeah. I think it's just look after yourselves over the last part of the winter. We really look forward to seeing you all in January. It's not that long away now. It doesn't. The date today doesn't matter to you because it will be coming out. This will be coming out in about a week's time, and I think there'll be about 5 weeks left by the time you get this. So look after yourselves. Really look forward to seeing you all. Can't reiterate enough about the event guide. We put a lot of work into that, so go on there and sit down with a cup of coffee and have a good old read through. After we've finished, you'll be getting a bit of a update from Omega Medical, who are our medical suppliers. Mark will give you some really useful advice. They'll be out on the course. Lots of them. They'll have people at checkpoints looking after you all, but Mark will fill you in with what you can expect from them.
Yeah, Mark and his team have been with us since day one on this race, and so they know the race inside out. Okay, so they're fully aware. They know everywhere to go. They know the course well, and it will be our biggest ever medical team out there this year, because it's our biggest ever number of runners. So yeah, see you in January.
And any queries, use the email address that will be on the screen and in the event guide. We do try and monitor social media messages, but as you can imagine, getting closer and closer to the event, we don't want to miss anything. So emailing us is always the best option. See you in January, guys.
See you then.
Our medics are going to be at every checkpoint, and they're also going to be around the course, mobile medics to look after you if you become injured or if you become ill or if you just need assistance to carry on. At the checkpoints, we've also got physiotherapists. So at St Ives, we've got a physio. At Land's End and at Penzance, we've got physios to look after you. We've also got a physio at the end that can look after you after you've actually finished the race, which you will do. You'll finish the race, and we're here to make sure that you get to the end. Okay, so please don't resist asking for help if you need it. That's what we're there for. One of the biggest problems that we do have with athletes throughout the race is hydration. Plain and simple water. We find, and it happens every time we do the arc, every time we do the rat, people don't drink enough. They think they drink enough, but they just don't. So they come to us at the checkpoints not feeling very well, feeling sick, feeling tired, can't carry on, want to give up. A lot of that is down to the fact that they just don't drink enough throughout the race. You should be looking at around 3/4 of a litre for every hour that you're out there. So don't come up to me at St Ives saying that between Land's End and St Ives you've only had a litre of water, because A, you won't get any sympathy from me, but you'll also get a bit of a telling off. We'll get you down, we'll get you hydrated, and we'll get you back out, but the reason why you're not feeling well is probably the fact that you haven't hydrated enough. You also need to balance that with your electrolytes. Now, you guys have been training, you know what electrolytes you're using. Try not to kind of change it on the day. Stick to what you've been training with. Keep that balance up throughout the race. You've been training with it, you know how it works. Don't change anything throughout the race. So keep hydrated, keep your electrolytes balanced, and that will help you massively to get to the end of the race, which is what you want to do. Food, you also need some fuel. Okay, you're not going to be able to run this race without any fuel inside you. So do make sure that you eat. There is no excuse. You carry food with you. There is also a vast array of food at the checkpoints. MudCrew do an amazing checkpoint. There's plenty of food there of all sorts. You've got sweet food, you've got savoury food. Do mix it up. Try to eat some savoury stuff with some salt in. That will help you get through. You also need to look at maybe salt tablets as well when you're running. You guys have been training. You should know what you're doing. Stick to your routine, but do make sure that you keep fueled throughout the whole race. Guys, we're also here to help you look after your feet. Now, blisters can be a big problem. They can be a race-threatening injury. If one tiny little blister starts off as a little blister, you ignore it, you get through the pain. All of a sudden, you start running slightly differently. Then you get pain in your hips. Then you get pain in your back. Then all of a sudden, after 5 or 6 miles with a blister, you'll start to be in some pain. We can sort that out. You can sort it out during the race. We can sort it out at the checkpoints. Don't be afraid to come up to one of the physios or one of the medics to get your blisters looked at. We can tape them up. We'll probably pop your blister. We'll clean it as best we can, and we'll put a dressing on it to get you to the end of the race. Otherwise, it bursts in your sock. It gets full of the muck that's in your sock, and your socks are going to get pretty mucky, and then you've got a risk of infection. So let us do that at the checkpoints. Minimise that risk of infection. Get you to the end of this race. We're also there to help you with any ankle injuries that you might have, any knee injuries that you might have. Our sports therapists and our physios are very good at rock taping. Okay, so we use rock tape, and we can get you hopefully to the next checkpoint to get looked at again by another physio to maybe change something, or maybe use a bit more rock tape, or get you to the end of the race. So don't be afraid to ask these guys. They're there to help you. It may just be a little bit of manipulation, bit of rock tape, and hopefully we can get you on your way. Pain relief, it's something that you probably will be in throughout the race. You're going to be in some pain, whether that be pain through your ankles, your knees, your legs, just pains in general. Guys, really be careful with your pain relief that you're administering yourself. Okay, be careful with your paracetamol. Make sure that you don't take any more than the prescribed dose. An overdose of paracetamol is any more than 8 tablets in a day for adults. Okay, so make sure that you're only taking those every 4 hours, maximum of 8 in 24 hours. That's really important. You can get yourself into a bit of a pickle if you take too much. Ibuprofen, please don't take any ibuprofen. It's been proven to be detrimental to ultra athletes during a race. Okay, so please don't take any ibuprofen prophylactically or during the race. Fine afterwards when you're recuperating, but please don't take it during the race. You won't get any off our medics. What to do in emergency? Guys, if you get into trouble on the cliff path, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's blowing a gale, you're going to be there for a little while. It might take a little while for my team to find you, especially between Land's End and St Ives. That's a pretty remote part of the coast path to get stuck in. If you do, try and stay where you are, keep yourself warm, tell one of the other runners where you are. If you've got what 3 words on your phone, try and get an exact location, we'll come and help you out. If one of your teammates or somebody gets into a problem where you need to call 999, please, if you need to, then obviously you need to call 999 for emergency, but also call our team as well. We're pretty well equipped. We've got everything you would find in the back of an ambulance response car in the vehicles that we've got. So we will get to you probably quicker these days than an ambulance, unfortunately, and we're there to help you out. So please, if you need to, call 999, but also make sure that you call our medics so that we can get to you. The support crews, guys, we're here for you as well. For those of you who haven't supported an athlete, it's pretty tough. What we need from you is to make sure that you look after your athletes. If you need any advice, please call us. We will then give you advice that you can give to your athletes if we can't get there. We're also there to look after you. So if you're in a bit of a pickle as well, come and see us. We can help you out. We're here for the whole team, not just your athlete. So please do come and have a chat with us if you want some advice, or actually if you need help as well. Guys, I just want to talk a little bit about hypothermia, and this goes for the athletes and the support crews. Don't wait till you get too cold. If you start shivering, then you need to be looking at getting yourselves warm. If you stop shivering, that's a really bad sign. For your support crews, you need to be looking at this with your athletes, making sure that A, they're warm enough and they're coherent. If they start talking in double Dutch and you can't understand what they're saying, if they stopped shivering, then actually that could be a really bad sign. Make sure we do something about it. It is life-threatening. You get stuck out on the cliff path when you're already hypothermic. Yeah, things won't be good. That's about it. It's a tough race, guys. I don't know if you've not done this before. It's brutal. Okay, the coast path is brutal. The weather's brutal. There's nothing good about this race, to be honest with you. It's going to absolutely smash you, and that's why you're doing it. We're there to get you through the race. Okay, so please, if you need it, ask for help. Guys, have a good race.